What's up, everybody? Khamzat Chimaev dominated Li Jingliang last night and finished him in the first round. This is his first ranked opponent. He was ranked number 11, and he went out there. He made it look easy. He choked the guy out, put him to sleep. Li went out on his shield. He's a tough fighter. He's a game fighter, but Khamzat Chimaev dominated him. Now, leading up to this fight, I was expecting a few things. When I found out that Chimaev was getting a ranked opponent, a lot of people said that Chimaev was going to get exposed in this division because he's not as good as he thinks he is. And that's not what happened at all. You know, at first, he knocked out Gerald Nearshart with the first punch that he threw. He knocked him out, I think it was like 17 seconds. And that was after dominating two guys. The first guy who he ragdolled around a bit, I did think was a bit smaller than Chimaev. I do think weight played a factor there. Chimaev is still a better wrestler, but I do think size was a bit of a factor there. But when against Gerald, it was someone who had more experience, had been a lot more fights than Chimaev, and he knocked him out with the first punch he threw. So what I was hoping to see in this fight, I was hoping two questions would be answered. One, how durable is Chimaev? Because Li is a fighter who can hit very hard in that division. He hits very hard. The other question was, how hard does Chimaev hit against someone who's not past their prime and someone who has a very good chin? If you want to watch a good fight, watch Li Jingliang versus Matt. I think the guy's name was Matthew, I forgot his last name. I think it was Matthew Freer. But I'll post, no, sorry, my bad. Jake Matthews. Watch Li Jingliang versus Jake Matthews. And in that fight, Li got hit with some very, very big shots, some solid shots, and Jake does look, you know, he looked quite a bit bigger than Li on that night. Maybe, you know, Li doesn't cut weight as well, or maybe Li is a bit smaller for the welterweights. But Jake Matthews was a big dude, came in there, hit him with some solid shots, and he was not able to put Li away inside that fight. So I figured, okay, this is an opponent who has been hit. His chin has been tested. It's been proven to be durable. So if Chimaev goes in there and knocks him out with one punch, then we know Chimaev has some ridiculous power. However, sadly, that's not what happened. Li came out through the spinning back fist. Chimaev got a body lock on him, took his back rather quickly, then took him over to the cage, put him down. And what I like about Chimaev is he doesn't necessarily go for the Dagestani handcuff like Khabib does, because everyone was saying he's going to be Khabib 2.0. He's going to do the same thing that Khabib does, and that's not what happened at all. Chimaev gets the body lock. He likes to take the back. He likes to pick the person up. He does like putting them against the cage so they can't roll away. But also, Chimaev will get the he'll start off when he was throwing the ground and pound a bit, you know, throwing those hits from top on there. He was kind of looking like he was going to that Khabib position where he gets that Dagestani handcuff. But Chimaev will often turn himself in the opposite direction of where Khabib would be. He'll turn his left hip towards the cage, you know, get his legs locked around the person, then he'll flatten them in front of the cage, and then he dropped a lot of ground and pound and lead. That's what happened last night. So he doesn't do it the exact same way as Khabib. Khabib wanted to get the one arm locked down, so you had to worry about that, and then he had a free hand to pound you with. Chimaev prefers to take your back completely, get you flattened out with your face pointed towards the cage, and then he can ground and pound you with both hands. Now, of course, we can't say this is definitely what he wants to do every single time because he hasn't had that many fights yet. But it is different than what Khabib does. You know, Khabib did almost the exact same thing to all of his opponents. He went in there, he pressured them, choked them out, or he would just decision them by, you know, turning their face inside out like he destroyed Edson Barbosa. So Chimaev is doing his own thing, and I'm glad to see that. You know, you should emulate great fighters, but sometimes you could do stuff that is just as effective, if not more simple. You know, Khabib, DC, Chimaev, they all obviously have a strong wrestling background. Where Chimaev grew up, he did a whole lot of wrestling. So I was very excited to see him beat a ranked opponent. How do I think he'll do against the others? I'm going to take some more time to break it down. If you guys are wondering why I did not break down Chimaev versus Li before the fight happened, was because I had not seen all of these fights. I went back and watched one, but I had some other projects that I catch up on, so I didn't have time to watch all of him and then break down how I thought it would do. And I don't like doing rushed breakdowns. If I see the fighter, then I'll pick them. If I haven't seen the fighter, I don't like picking them because you do not know what the other fighter can do. You don't know what the other fighter is capable of. And I was working on breaking down how good is Khamzat Chimaev. So now I have some more work to do, but thankfully, for me, Chimaev keeps beating all these people in the first round and doing it very quickly. And he's not taking too much damage, so I don't have as much work to do. But that is a question a lot of people are going to be wondering. What will happen? Is he going to stay at 185 or is he going to stay at 170? What will happen if he faces, you know, anybody else there? You know, now he's got to go through your Jeff Neals. He's got Stephen Thompson in front of him. He's got Gilbert Burns in front of him. He's got Neil Magny in front of him. He's got Who else is there? Colby Covington, then Kamaru Usman finally as the champion. So he's got a stacked division to go through. I'll break down how I think it will go. I do not think Wonderboy will be able to keep it standing with him. I was expecting Wonderboy to do better against Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert Burns is, you know, a little bit smaller than some of the guys he's wrestled against, but he wasn't able to keep it standing with him, sadly. But I think that, you know, Wonderboy is going to go back to the drawing board and get even better. Also, Burns has a, you know, different style of wrestling compared to the others. But anyway, the point is, Chimaev was victorious. He did himself proud. I'm eventually going to break down how good he is so far. And if you guys would like me to, I will pick how I think he'll do against the other top 10 because I have seen a lot more of those guys' fights. I've seen a lot of Wonderboy's fights. I've seen a lot of Kamaru's fights. I've seen a lot of Colby's fights. So I'll be able to break down how he'll do against those guys better, in my opinion. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.